It is safe to say that there is no nation on this earth there's no country or there's no continent that is governed by God right now. And the reason is that majority of men want to sin. So the majority of men want to remain unbelievers, and also the Christians within this denomination of nations also have not figured out their gifts and their identity in Christ. In a nation or in a country, there's the political space, the medical field, educational field, and there's other fields within this nation that will make up the entirety of the country. Take the medical field for an example. A man in the distant past decided that he will hybridize the wheat stock, not knowing that hybridization that he has decided that he will begin is a sin unto God. Now, hybridization is taking us two different species of the same genetics, similar genetics, and try to create your own desired outcome, or your own desired stock. What he doesn't understand is his strength. Whatever he's going to create is going to be an alteration of God's perfection, and an alteration of God's perfection will create imperfection. Now, this young man, for him to make that mistake means he's inspired by the devil, because only the devil will inspire hybridization. You can see that in Genesis. He's the one that brought the idea of Nephilim and all that. Now, if you look closely into this whole thing, the effects of this young man's actions in the past are beginning to take place now in the future. Now, this hybridized wheat that this young man created contains a particular starch known as amylopectin A. Now, this amylopectin A has an effect on the blood sugar levels, and it rises the blood sugar levels far above even the regular refined sugar as we know it. And this wheat is what we use to this day to create our oatmeal, bread, flour, and every kind of pasta, pastries out there to this day. And the problem with this is that for a diabetic patient, doctors in the medical field to this day recommend oat as a regular food of intake for anyone who is diabetic. And that has only made the diabetic patient worse and worse, and increasing levels of problem and sickness every single day. And this diabetic trusts the doctor because the doctor is supposed to help her with her needs. But the doctor is also operating in the foundational error of a past mistake someone made because of the evil intention of his heart. This is what happens. When a man's heart is not connected with God, that heart is selfish. And when it's selfish, that heart will be a useful tool for the devil to bring destruction, havoc, and unforeseen circumstances to men, generations yet unborn. This is exactly why a man cannot be good on his own. A man will need God, the Spirit of God within him, to find and be able to use his gifts adequately. A man that thinks his own ways are the only ways to operate is a man that will and is selfish and does not acknowledge that God is higher than him. He's not humble. He's full of pride. He's full of himself. That type of a man will be used to bring havoc. Even if he thinks that what he is doing is going to help people, he will bring destruction. He will bring problems to men yet unborn. The long and short of what I'm saying is this: with Christians in the political space, in the medical field, in every field in the nation, and not just Christians that go to church crying for healing and sickness every day, and Christians that don't grow, Christians that don't find what they're supposed to be doing, Christians that can't find their identity in Christ. We need Christians in every levels of gifts, in every aspect. For a nation to become a nation, the only way we can find a good person is one who acknowledges God and who allows God to rule it. Anyone that chooses his own methods, allow his methods to be his king. And if his methods is his king, it means that he follows the ways of this world. And he follows the ways of this world. He's operating under the system in which the devil has already made. He's locked in his own room in his own room of conscious thought, in his own perception of thinking. This is why there will be unforeseen problems, unforeseen issues rising up every generation, and men will still keep falling apart. This is why presidents, nations are falling, because they choose their ways, and their ways is not connected to helping others. Even if it's connected to helping others, it is still selfish, because there's no humility and there's no surrendering to God. It's only going to be about selfish desires. So if you're a Christian doctor and watching this, or you come across this video, one of the things you have to do is begin to examine the past for the foundational errors that was put in place because of these evil intentions of men, and begin to create a hospital that is breathed and inspired by God to begin to cure all these problems. Cancer and every other disease that seem to have no cure, all have a cure. God placed them in the herbs that He created, the herbs, the vines, the trees. He created them already installed. It is now the doctor's gift to be able to backtrack the errors, check for the healing properties of the leaves, and begin to manufacture medicine with no secondary effects in the body. Because now so many medicines seems to be curing current problems and creating newer problems in the body, because the selfish intentions of man want to keep the medical and the pharmaceutical business running. So he has used the concept of manipulation to keep man coming back over and over again to buy and purchase drugs from their hands. What we must do as doctors is to create a final cure, a once-time cure, and begin to save men from death and sicknesses and everlasting pain. And to every other Christian out there, and to every other Christian who just began the Christian walk, what you must also do is to figure out your gift, connect that gift to God, find the identity, and begin to bring God's kingdom on earth through your vessel and through your theater. Everyone has a gift, everyone is made for something, everyone has been called to do something. And it's not necessarily a pastor, prophet, or any of the fivefold ministry. There are other aspects of things that are there that men have not ventured into, because the system has found a way to block, or just generally everyone who just goes and meet God just seems to become a pastor. Either way, we must figure out our gift. We must know what we are there to do on this earth, what we are here to do on this earth. And we can only know that if we are with God, if we are living in Christ. All right. Stay.